Hey, welcome back. So, I was bored sitting here eating lunch. Because, yeah, sometimes I sit in my car and eat lunch. So, I decided to turn on really cool news. Well, actually, I didn't decide to turn it on. I opened up YouTube to watch a video. And really cool news video was in my suggested or whatever on the homepage, whatever you call it. Like, whatever. Like 16 minutes or something like that about Lane Myers. I'm like, yeah, let's see what they have to say. So I'm listening to it, and apparently Really Cool News has an AI that they use to get a transcript for videos. And I think it's Pants who reads them. Anyway, I think it was Pants who was reading it. Maybe it was Big Jim Finch. I don't listen to him often enough to be able to tell the difference between them, honestly. So, mea culpa. I guess you could disregard this because I don't have all the facts. But they were reading a transcript from a Lane Myers video. Lane Myers kept saying, the person I can't refer to did this and blah, 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 and I can't refer to this person. I can't say their name. I can't say this person's name, or it's 41 years in prison. But, this person who I can't name did this and this and that, blah, blah, blah. There's a Supreme Court thing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I vaguely remember the terms. Well, I thought I vaguely remembered the terms of the probation agreement that was part of sentencing, and which, by the way, Lane Myers pled guilty. I just want to reiterate that because there's a commenter who seems to think that because the victim didn't prove anything, because she didn't provide him, I guess, because he's someone special, that she needs to provide evidence to, for reasons I don't understand, that somehow the evidence doesn't exist that would support a guilty verdict if the case went to trial. But I just want to remind everybody, even those too stupid probably to comprehend this, but I'll say it anyway, just because I'm that kind of guy. There are procedural steps in any criminal case, and proof comes at trial. That's where each side presents their proof to the public. Trials are public, generally speaking. I mean, they might have a private trial. They might exclude the public for various reasons, but generally speaking, trials are public, especially criminal trials. And the prosecution presents their evidence at trial. The defense may or may not present evidence at trial, but that's where the prosecution presents their proof. Now, prior to that, they do disclose the proof that they may present at trial, plus any potentially exculpatory evidence. But they disclose that to defense counsel or the defendant, if the defendant is pro se. So, whatever the state disclosed to Lane Myers was sufficient proof for Lane Myers to decide it was in his best interest to plead guilty. Guilty. So I want everybody to remember that. Also, in another aside, TubeSock, who is a excellent troll, made a post about Lane Myers winning his appeal, overturning the plea deal. And the same poster who is trying to argue with me about how I'm stupid because the victim never proved anything, replied to that, truth. This guy, his head is so far up his ass that he buys TubeSock's bullshit. There was no appeal. He did not appeal his plea deal. I don't even know under what grounds he could appeal his plea deal. It wasn't an Alford deal. So, I mean, he just straight up pled guilty. G-U-I-L-T-Y. Guilty. Guilty. Lane Myers pled guilty. Deal with it, Lane Myers fanboys. He pled guilty. It wasn't a travesty of justice. It wasn't some procedural gotcha. He pled guilty. He had all the facts. He knew the facts. He He said that he was aware of everything. He was aware of the potentials, and he'd been advised of his rights, and he was knowingly waiving his rights, and no one had pressured him or coerced him or anything. I listened to that plea deal hearing, and he pled guilty. He was voir dired. The judge made sure he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing, and he pled guilty. He said, "This is true. I am guilty." I mean, whatever take-backs he's trying to do now, if he is trying to do take-backs, are completely immaterial. Yeah, nobody in prison was guilty, right? Yeah. Anyway, so back to the video where they're reading the transcript, and Lane Myers kept referencing someone, but saying he couldn't say their name. So I went back and I looked up the probation agreement, the sentencing. That's what it's called, sentencing. And Lane Myers is not allowed to communicate information about the protected parties on YouTube, on the internet. He's not allowed to disseminate information about them. It isn't limited to their names. And part of me hopes that Lane listens to this video and goes back and looks at that sentencing document and understands that him talking about them, disseminating information about them, whether or not he says their name, plural, is a violation of his probation conditions. The guy's a violation machine. He violates all the, the guy is retarded. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I hope he stops doing it, because I don't want him to go to prison. And I don't think anybody else who hate watches him actually wants him to go to prison. I know I got a lot of people in my comment section, he needs to go to prison. You would lose your entertainment. All of you people who love to be just enraged by him. Oh, that Lane Myers curses. You are getting some form of enjoyment out of this. You will lose that if he goes to prison. It is not in your best interest for him to go to prison. It might be in the victim's best interest. It might be in the state's best interest. It might actually even be in Lane Myers' best interest for him to have some time to reflect and maybe grow as a person. But I'm not advocating for him to go to prison. But it is not in your best interest for him to go to prison. Another interesting thing in that sentencing document was that probation had to be given access to all of his YouTube channels. Lane deleting videos today, or yesterday, whenever he deleted them, he deleted a bunch of them, doesn't change anything, Lane. They had access to it. I mean, the guy's dumb. The guy's just dumb. You're doing shit when you know your probation officer has access to your YouTube channel, when you know they're watching you. Now, maybe your PO officer is lazy. Maybe he doesn't actually monitor your YouTube channel. Maybe he has better things to do than watch 6.5 hour, 9 hour, whatever hour live streams. Maybe. I watched a couple minutes of his live stream today. He had called up the executive assistant for something or the other. Basically a secretary. The executive assistant is basically a secretary. And Lane Myers was preaching to her about how he was going to sue her and how she should get a lawyer and she should talk to a lawyer. And then he proceeded to give her a whole bunch of legal advice, which I found to be ironic, that Lane Myers was suggesting that someone else should get advice from an attorney when Lane Myers refuses to get advice from an attorney. There is a huge level of hypocrisy there. But I only watched for a couple minutes. I mean, I don't take a lot of enjoyment listening to Lane yammer stammer on to some poor person who's just trying to be polite to the blithering idiot who's screaming at her. And I don't take enjoyment in that, so I logged out. I mean, I think it's much more entertaining to hear him spurg out about me. I guess I'm a bit of a narcissist. Anyway, I am told that he got a phone call and immediately ended the live stream. I wonder who that phone call was from. It wasn't from me. I mean, I've never called him. He's called me at least 3 times that I know of from the same phone number. And I know it was him because the 2 times where I actually answered, I was on a live stream with him. Suddenly, unbeknownst to me. I wonder if Arizona's a 2-party state. That'd be interesting to find out, wouldn't it? Anyway, that's all I got for you today. Maybe something else will happen. Who knows? Lane Myers is just the eternal giving machine, the content generator. I should start up John Rietveld's law office on YouTube for giving legal advice to pro se litigants and monetize it. I've got 6,500 subscribers, and I should be monetizing them. That's what Lane Myers is. That's why he's making his law office channel. Law office of Lane Myers. Right there with Stout, pro se litigators. Oh, they should collab. Would it be Myers and Stout, or Stout and Myers, or would it be Stout and Myers? That works. Stout and Myers. If you guys do it, you need to give me a kickback. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.